Um, were there any experiences that you remember shaped your opinion of the war?
Yes. It took a while though. You didn't you didn't have a lot of time to spend thinking about the war. Plus I was only been out of college for a couple of years, and I was still 67, 68. I was born in 38, so I was about 30 years old or something like that. But so you don't really have time to think about it too much. But I told you that story about not being really prepared, to not understanding the enemy. So I think the longer I was in the Army, the more I thought about that. That became a major part of my feeling about war, and it's still with me today. In fact, it's grown to the point where, frankly, I consider myself pretty much anti-war. I'm not going to go into it because that's not the purpose for this, but it just told me. I mean, how's Vietnam today? I mean, we went there. A lot of people died. A lot of people were wounded. Tremendous casualties. So what do we have? We have Vietnam. They seem to be doing pretty good.
The irony is I teach two Vietnamese students, and one of them is going to be gone for a month. Friday was his last day for a month because he's flying home to Vietnam to see his grandmother who is dying. And so, that was just yesterday. That was just 2 days ago, and here we are sitting talking about your experiences in the war in that same place. So it's hard for me to not think about
that.
Think about this kid, and where he's just picturing where he's going home to, and just thinking about that.
So I just conclude that little topic by saying that I personally have trouble with places like Iraq, Afghanistan, and not going into detail. A lot of that attitude is based upon my experiences in Vietnam.
Well, that was going to be one of the questions I was going to ask you. But you didn't leave the Army when you left Vietnam. You stayed in the Army. What was those first couple years of post-war life like for you? I know a lot of people, they talk a lot about Vietnam veterans who had trouble adjusting to stateside life, and they still talk about that with Afghanistan and Iraq. People who have seen combat and non-combat soldiers who were there having trouble adjusting to life back in the States. What was post-war life like for you? Because you did one tour of Vietnam, but then you didn't go back. You went to Puerto Rico and stayed stateside for, except for maybe some short trips.
I went to Korea.
Your life as a war soldier was over.
Right.
So what was that post-war time like for you?
Not bad. I didn't. Now, your mom would tell you that I had very, very difficult time sleeping. But based on what I've heard about other people having their problems with coming back from the war, I really don't think I had that many problems. I adjusted pretty well.
And you stayed in for 20 years.
20 years.
Or 20 years. And you stayed in intelligence that whole time?
Stayed in intelligence that whole time.